Siren 2 was always a mystery to me. I like Siren 1 a lot. That was one of my favorite horror games, especially on the PS2. And then Siren Blood Curse came out on the PS3, but if you lived in North America, there was kind of a hole in the middle, something that was missing, and that's this game. Because Siren 2 came out in Japan, came out in Europe, came out in Australia, I believe, did not come out in North America for whatever reason. I guess the game just, Siren 1, I guess it just must not have sold very well at all in North America. Not enough to justify releasing this, which is strange because since they released it in Europe, it does mean they made an English dub track, and it is as wonderful as the dubbing from Siren 1, so of course, that is what we're going to be playing with as we play with Siren 2. So this is the European version. It is the PAL version of Siren 2 being played on an emulator. And, well, if you remember how Siren 1 went, it was a very moody, just very morose, slow-paced, difficult horror game. Siren 2, pretty similar. This game came out only a couple of years after the first game, made by, I'm pretty sure, the exact same team. So this is very much in the style of that first game. But if you haven't played the first game and you're not familiar with the story, you don't need to worry about that, because Siren 2 is its own self-contained story. There will be some references to Siren 1, but you don't have to have played Siren 1 to understand. Well, you don't have to have played Siren 1. I was about to say you don't have to have played Siren 1 to understand what's going on here, but it's Siren, which means that you might not understand what's going on anyway. It's not the clearest. We'll have to go over what the story is when we finish this, but for right now, we are selecting new game. Brightness level is probably fine. Difficulty. You know, I tried playing this on hard. I really tried. And I got to a point, like, I'm going to say 3/4 through the game, where I had to admit, I can't do this. I cannot beat this game on hard. It gets ridiculous. So we are not playing this on hard. The unfortunate part is that you do have to beat it on hard to get a final secret level. There's a final secret challenge level. Fortunately, does not have anything to do with the story. It's just a bonus level with a character where you play as a Shibito in like the hardest challenge of the game. You have to beat it on hard to get that. But like I said, I can't beat it on hard. I just can't do it. And I have to admit that. And I have to say that it's okay, but we're going to play this on normal, on which it is actually a reasonable game. We're going to do this on normal.
Daddy?
Uh-huh.
Your job is looking for treasure, right?
Yeah.
You know, I'm really good at that too. I found lots of treasure today.
Is that right? So, shall we go treasure hunting tomorrow?
Yeah. I wish Kanai could play outside with us too.
Good night, Shu.
Night.
Somebody, put myself break down the door. Just in there, someone, come on. Oh, wait, hey. Open up. Open up. Look at him.
Daddy? Daddy? Can I? Ugh.
As we begin Siren 2, you might notice a couple of differences from the first game. We've got subtitles. I don't believe there were any subtitles in Siren 1. Also, we've got first person. Well, the whole game is not first person, but this is. We're controlling that small child that we saw being put to bed. We could go downstairs, see what's happening to the dad, or we could look around the room first. This is where we were sleeping. There's something here. Picture book lying by the pillow. Our first archive item has been added. You might remember the archive from the first game. 100 optional information items that tells you a little bit about the backstory. We will be collecting 100 items, and this was our first one. We cannot look out this window. We cannot look through that. We have a little closet here. Nothing to be found here. Well, I guess. Well, we could also look at our little shelf right here. It doesn't seem like we can interact with it. Well, let's go downstairs. We heard a sound of a scuffle. And it roused the child. Let's head downstairs and see what happened.
Wake up, Daddy!
Mission accomplished.
Thanks for helping me out.
Yeah, well, we were going there anyway.
Oh, I see. We could save. First, let's take a look at some things. It's introducing the link navigator to us. What is that? It's this. So we have different, on the left you can see different time frames. They're negative numbers. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and so on. Counting down to something for right now, anyway. The Link Navigator was in the first game. It tells the story out of chronological order. So you go back and forth throughout things. So that cutscene we just saw was at negative 7 o'clock. The first level we did was at negative 3 o'clock, 4 hours after this cutscene on the boat. So things do get told out of order. In the first game, it took a while before you were able to actually use the Link Navigator. It just made you go in a linear path for the first number of levels. But now, we can just do this from the beginning. We can zoom out, see the whole thing. Of course, not everything will be filled in, because not everyone is doing things at every moment in time.
So not every box gets filled in. But we can move around and choose which level we want to go to. And I think the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to do anything that appears earlier in the timeline first. When we get multiple levels available to us to do at the same time. Whatever comes earlier, I'll do first. So we have a better idea of maybe the chronological timeline as we head down the path to the bottom. We can take a look at descriptions of these levels we've done. Speaking softly to young Shumikami, his father Ryuhei puts the boy to bed. That's the level we did. And you might notice that in that level, we controlled a small child. That face right there is not a small child. That's an adult. And that cutscene we just saw belonged to Mamoru Itsuki, who is basically the main character of this game. There's a large number of characters, but he's the first one on here. This cutscene is described as, suddenly, violent waves tear at the boat with the strange people aboard. A Red Sea. People in panic. What could this be talking about? Well, let's take a little look at the manual. Give a little backstory as to what's happening here. The description in the manual says, "Welcome to Yamajima. The island of Yamajima lies just off the coast of Japan, but despite its proximity to the mainland, this is a place nobody ever speaks of, let alone visits. It's a place of mystery, a place to be afraid of. Legend has it that one night, 29 years ago, Yamajima was abandoned, the entire island reduced to ruin in a single night. All that is known that as the clock struck 12 a.m. on that fateful night, an undersea power cable was inexplicably cut. During the ensuing blackout, all of the island's inhabitants disappeared into thin air. Where did these islanders go? In all these years, nobody has found an answer. It's not clear either why a young magazine editor, a blind novelist, a wanted fugitive, and a fortune teller should tonight each be making their way to this desolate place. It can't be coincidence. Something has drawn them here, something none of them can yet understand. Midnight. A siren wails. The sea rears up and a blood-red tsunami strikes down on the shores of Yamajima, and the night of tragedy lives once more. So there's a haunted island, and all these friends are heading there on the boat. And the water turned red and started kicking up. Probably a bad idea to go to the haunted island, but that's what they're doing. I picked up some archive items. Let's have a look at those. Here we go. So here are the boxes for the archive. There are 100 boxes. We will fill them all up, but these are the 4 that we have right now. Number 6, the character we got this from was Mamoru. It says the requirement to get this one is to investigate routes to Yamajima. It's an audio recording device used in journalistic activities. Only journalistic activities, nothing else. Let's take a listen.
The time is 3:17 p.m. I'm checking to see if passage is available for Yamijima Island. Look, are you sure you can't?
What? Are you still here? Clear off, will you?
Please.
Show me about this much cash and I just might think about it. Now get out of here. I'm busy. Go away.
Hey!
Are you okay?
Yeah, thanks.
Is this the boat for Yamajima Island?
Yes, but no luck so far. This isn't going to be as easy as I thought. Wait a sec. Was that Shumikami? The time is 4:02 p.m. I am currently in the cabin of the Shosei Maru and...
Please, wait!
Hey, what do you think you're doing? Akiko, stop them!
This boat is going to Yamajima Island, right? Please, please!
Oh, come on, please! Get out of here, or I'll call the police! Come on, let me get on the boat. I'm begging you.
Let them aboard. I'm in a hurry.
Huh? Oh, all right. Akiko, you heard the gentleman. Let's take her out.
Oh, brilliant! Great!
Yes.
Oh, yay!
So a little backstory and on all these characters that are trying to get on this boat in order to get to this cursed island. Also, I don't know if I'm right about this. We heard the dog panting. It sounds like a guy just doing that. It sounds like a guy just going... It doesn't sound like a dog. You can go back and listen to that if you want, but it sounds like a guy imitating a dog. I don't know. Those are the characters that we have on the boat. Number 7, Mamoru's company ID. To get this one, we have to head out towards Yamajima. Company, Advanced Science Research Co., employee 00001044, name Mamoru Itsuki. Department, ASR Atlantis Editorial Department. This is to certify that the aforementioned is an employee of said company. If you remember Siren 1, Siren loves its IDs. You will find many IDs for characters. They love them. Let's get more info on Mamoru. Bridging the gap between the real and the unreal. The magazine dedicated to solving the mysteries of today's world. Special issue of Atlantis Magazine, August 2005. Special full coverage, the division and multiplication of infinite space, interpreting the wonder of multiple worlds. So, Mamoru worked for this magazine, Atlantis Magazine, which is all about the supernatural and the paranormal. And that's maybe why Mamoru wants to go to Yamajima Island, because it's cursed. He wants the scoop for his magazine. Number 8, Akiko's Pendulum and Map. The character that we got this from is Akiko, who we have not been formally introduced to yet. To do this, we have to find Ryuko Tagawa. You don't know that name yet, so that doesn't really mean anything to you. It will. Here's a map and pendulum. Pendulum and map of Japan used for dowsing. A red X marks a spot on the map. Dowsing is a term used to describe a method for finding object using items such as an L-shaped metal rod or pendulum. So Akiko dowsed to find something on the map, and it appears to be an island that she has marked with an X. That's why they're going there. Number 17, Mermaid Princess Story. This is what the child picked up in his room. To get this, we have to inspect the bedside area. A fairy tale masterpiece that tells the story of a mermaid princess's tragic love. A mermaid princess falls in love with a human prince, making a pact with a sea witch. She is changed into human form in exchange for her beautiful voice. But the deal came with a price. For should she fail to win the heart of her true love, she would be cursed and doomed to die. Without her voice to profess her love to the princess grew desperate, as the prince promised to wed the queen of a neighboring kingdom. Told by the witch that the only way to lift the curse was to kill the prince on the eve of his wedding, the princess was faced with a distressing decision. On the morn of her prince's wedding day, the mermaid princess returned to the sea, fading in a burst of shimmering bubbles. Yes, it's a story that does sound familiar. Let's see more info about it. When the mermaid princess awakens, she finds that her fishtail is gone, replaced by 2 legs, and staring into her lovely eyes is her one true love, the prince. The prince softly whispers, "What a beautiful maiden!" For the prince, it was love at first sight. So this is what Shu was reading, or maybe getting read to him. He was quite young. I'm going to save. Going to do an empty file. So, I think what we're going to do, like with the Siren 1 LP, we're probably going to cut these videos into 1 mission apiece, because that worked well as sort of for organization. So, the next mission we're going to go to, we only have 1, which is to head on with Mamoru at -3 o'clock in the next mission.